Hello everybody, it's your boy Skipx here with another video for you guys here today, and what we are going to be talking about is why I believe Persona 5 will never come to the Switch, and let's get into it. Basically, back in 2010, I believe, when Persona 5 started their development, Atlus was an independent company. They're not exactly big as some publishers like Sega, Nintendo, Epic Games, Activision, and so many others. They didn't exactly have a big bank account in comparison to these other companies. So usually when they make a game, they usually have to get outside funding. And when it came to Persona 5, the outside funding came from Sony. And we probably can imagine that the same thing happened with former Persona games, seeing as they were exclusive to PlayStation consoles as well. But going into that, basically that deal happened a couple of years before Sega brought them in 2013. So at that point, the deal was already set in place, because as we know, Sega has been making some pretty okay moves. They're not exactly back on point yet, but they have been making some good moves and making a lot more of their games multi-platform, with the Yakuza series, with Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 1 and 2 making their way to Steam this year, and Sonic basically being on every platform imaginable, with the recent release of Sonic Adventure 1 coming out on Steam very recently. We know that Sega is really not attached to any particular platform unless a certain company, which in this case would be like Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony, comes to them and says make an exclusive game for our system. With that being the case, and seeing that Sony did fund a fair bit of Persona 5, that deal was already set in place, and it is possible that maybe Sega took a look at it and said, well, we want to release this game on the Switch one day after they seen how well the Switch sold back when it initially released back in 2017. But with that being said, that means that the revenue split on that game is going to go 4 ways. So let's say that Sony does eventually say, okay, you can release the game on the Switch, but we want an even bigger cut of the profit now. So then that means Sega overall gets less of a profit, because there has to be money that goes directly to Sega, money that goes to Atlus because they made the game. Then Sony gets an even bigger cut because, okay, if you're not going to be an exclusive on our system anymore, we still want to make a fair bit of money from this. And then last but not least, Nintendo for publishing that game on their system. So then it's a 4-way revenue split, and overall it just doesn't make financial sense for Sega to go ahead and do that. And that's really the reason why it won't never come to the Switch, in my personal opinion. And yes, I could be proven wrong in just a couple of days, because we do know that there's more information coming out about Persona 5 The Royale on May 9th, but seeing as that was not something in their initial announcement when they revealed the trailer and all the expansive stuff that they're going to be adding to the game, and they said the game was exclusively built for the PS4 Pro and is going to take advantage of that stuff, it leads me to believe that most likely we won't be seeing this game on the Switch. So hopefully you understand this explanation of why Persona 5 most likely will never come to the Switch. But with that being said, I will say this: in the future it is very possible for other Persona titles to come to that system, and Nintendo in general, but I will be explaining that in another video soon. So with that being said, if you enjoyed the video and you found this video helpful or informational, please leave a like on it and subscribe as well for more videos like this one, and I will see you all in the next one.